All right. So now let's talk about text alignment and text decoration. When we talk about text alignment, so I'm basically talking about aligning text wherever you want it to be. Now, I said something in our last class that if you notice, almost every text that you see here begins from where? On the left, right? So it's starting from the left, right? Start from the left. So starting from the left. Now, what text alignment now does is that it allows you move whatever text you want to have, move away from the left to the center or to the right. You understand it now? So if I go ahead and I give this H1 a text alignment, so let's say text align of center. What was going to happen? As you can see, it moved from the left to the center, right? Similarly, if I say I want to move it to the what? To the right, what's going to happen? It's going to move it's going to move to the right. Can you see it now? That is what your text align is going to do for you. Text align is saying, okay, I'm moving certain elements from the left to the center or to the right. Is it clear? That's what text align is. So let's change this to the center, right? Center, and I'm going to move my p tag to the right. So I can see text align. Let's give it right. It looks weird, but let's leave it like that. So that is basically what your text align will do for you. I hope it's clear to everybody. That's what text align is. Now, the next one is your text decoration. Text decoration is basically giving your text certain decorations. So, what do I mean by certain decoration? So, for instance, let's say you want to have an underline on your page, on your text. I can say underline, right? Now, every single thing right here is going to have an underline. That's the decoration. Can you see that that's an underline now? That's the decoration. I can also give it overline. Overline means the line comes to the top. Can you see it now? That's the decoration. I can also say line through. I can also say line through. Now, if you see it, it is cutting across each of these text. That is what your text decoration is going to do for you. And also, there's also what we call none, text decoration of none. Let me explain that. If I go ahead and give this an A tag and I said HTTPS, so let's route it to Facebook. So see facebook.com, right? And I give it and I say Facebook. I want you to note what's going to happen. Now, first of all, every link tag is going to always have an underline. Like naturally, if you've noticed, if you create an anchor tag, you will always have what an underline on it. Do you get it now? So, what if I don't want to have this underline on my text? What do I have to do? All I have to do is what? Go ahead and say my A tag, right? Then I'm going to give it a text decoration. Text decoration. And I'm not just going to give it anything. I'm going to say text decoration of what? Of none. Am I writing the wrong? Of none. Now, if you notice the underline left, as you can see, you can't see it again. That is what text decoration will do for you. So I can remove this. So if you check it out, there is an underline. If I add it back, what you have, the underline is gone. Now that's what text decoration will do for you. Text decoration can either help you add decorations to text or remove those decorations from them. Is it clear? So do you understand text align and text decoration now? No. That's why you have to learn a lot. So you learn plenty things so that maybe when you're not trying to build, maybe we'll not use everything, but you will end up using a lot of things. In fact, sometimes you will not even use what you've learned. You have to use what you have to learn again. So I will explain what I'm trying to say. If you are working on, maybe let's say, you see, one thing as a programmer is that most of the time you will do things you've never done before. So you have to like improvise, think about something else out of the box. So somebody reached out to me like a couple of months back that they want to build a particular, let's say, they want to build a uh, okay, now let me just use another expansion. I think that's confidential. I can't. So now they reached out to me on a job that they want me to like be their web developer on a particular project. Now, so they now gave me a stack to work with. So what's a stack? A stack is like a particular. Let's say it is an aspect of let's say a framework of a particular language. So JavaScript has a lot of frameworks. So it has React. Probably heard of React before. I don't know what of React. There's React, there's Svelte, there's Vue, there's Angular. Now, my own stack, my own core aspect in JavaScript is React. I use React. Now, they now told you that for me to be able to get this job, I need to use Svelte. I've never written Svelte in my life. I've never written this. But I said, they said, can I do it? I said, yes. I said, I used to write Svelte. But I've never written Svelte before. Now, they wanted me to build an event, not event management, they want to build a management dashboard whereby you can get user data, you can edit user, no, you can delete user data. So let's say the user has a form, user can input their name. So you can now what? Allow the user edit their data, delete their data, right? Do a lot of things. Now, something like that in React can take me probably like an hour. In fact, less than an hour. But on Svelte that I've never done before, I need to take me like at least 3 to 4 weeks to be able to understand Svelte first, then start building. You understand it now? But they said it is in 6 days. The interview is in 6 days. So what did I have to do? I sat down, started reading, and I built it in 3 days. So that is one thing about programming. It's about like using what you probably learned before. Because one thing about Svelte and React is that all of these frameworks, they have similar syntax. Once you understand one, you can easily go back and learn the other. If you are dedicated to it, you can go back and learn it. So that's it. So that's basically one thing about programming. You have to be able to sit down to read, understand all of these things. In the end, you might end up not using those tasks, but that added knowledge is going to help you in future projects. That's basically what it is. So you might not use text decoration. I don't remember. I cannot remember the last time I used text decoration because there are other things for all of these things. I can't remember the last time I used text align. These days I use flex instead of flex. So for all of these things will help you like prepare you in future whatever. So that's basically what it is. Now the next one is going to be height. We've done height before, but I'm going to explain this again. Now let's use this image as an example. So let's say we have an image right here. So let's say image, right? So I'm going to say images / download.jpg. Now it should appear here now. So now we have this image. Now let's say I want to okay, let me take this image away from here and bring it right to the top. Good. Now let's say I want to change it to look like a logo, like a normal logo. You know, if you go on website, you see a logo at the top left, very, very small at the top, right? Let's say you want to do something like this on logos. How do you do it? I can go ahead and edit the words, the height and the width. You understand? So now, height is talking about how high something is. Then the width is talking about how wide certain things are. You understand? Certain elements are. So now, if I reduce the width, what happens? It becomes smaller. If I reduce the height, what happens? It becomes a little bit shorter. You understand? That's what height and width deals with. So I can go ahead and I can say the image tag should have. So let's reduce the height. So let's give it an height of 50 pixels. Now, if you notice, it's going to be very, as you can see, it is now very, very, very small. So let's give it a width of 50 pixels. Okay, of course, it's going to be automatic like that. So let's give it 20. So okay, that's not what we want. 30. Good. Now let's do the same thing to the width, to the height rather. Let's give it 30. As you can see, it now looks like a logo now, right? It's not too big, but at least you can still see ELA. Do you get it now? That is basically what your height and width does for you. Height is saying that, okay, how wide or how, sorry, height is talking about how long it is, something is, while width is talking about how wide certain things, certain elements will be. I hope this is clear to us. Is it clear? So before we move on to the next part now is padding and margin, which is going to lead us to CSS box model. So before we do that, I'm going to give us time to write this and understand it. Maybe if you have any question, you can ask me before we move on to CSS box model, because we are now moving into a very, very interesting part of CSS. You have a question? Yes, it is. It's in the body. I'm